Okay, and as usual, the recordings of this session will be at conversion.info/recordings. Like to say this at the beginning. I was going to do today something about retargeting, but something else popped up. It's going to be really good content, so I wanted to squeeze it in. But I want to mention that earlier today I did a mini course because I remember one of you guys was asking for something about retargeting, and that's in the Facebook group, and I think it's at retargeting mini course. So I'm going to drop you this link. You can check this out after the conversation, and then next week we'll do the Facebook retargeting mini course as promised today. But I have some other content today that I think you'll like a lot, and a special guest. We've been having a lot of guests lately, kind of because I've been feeling lazy, but just kind of because they've been popping up. So, and the content today is going to be very, very good. All right. For whatever reason, I can't paste a link, so I'll figure that out in a second. And our guest today, you guys might know him because he's all over the darn place on Facebook, is a good friend of mine, Josh Shanley. How you doing, Josh?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get you on one of these things forever, and you finally had an opening, and the timing was good because you just last week, I'm going to just plug your book for you. You just, congratulations, launched a book on Amazon, which is really awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited. Pretty cool time for
so
sure.
Guys, Josh said he would just give everybody, you're going to give a link to the book, so don't go buy it on Amazon and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to get everybody a better deal than what you can get buying a paperback on Amazon.
Okay, so I'm going to flip it over to Josh. Josh is going to talk about something that he is really, really good at. Probably, in my mind, Josh, like the most stuff that I learned from you has to do with the topic you're going to talk about today, and that is specifically email marketing and getting people to reply to emails, which is really critical to the conversion platform. We're all about sending emails at the right time, generating conversations with the right emails, and you have a really good perspective and a lot of content on that. So I'm going to flip the screen to you and let you just go.
Appreciate it. And you know, although I've learned a lot over the years, I certainly there is still certainly plenty that I can learn and have learned also from you. So as we're going through, if you get an idea, there's actually some parts of this that are kind of almost like brainstorming type stuff, and so please feel free to chime in as well, because you've got a ton of experience and got some creativity when it comes to this as well that maybe you know, is something that I'm lacking to a certain degree. So the fancy title I came up for today's training is how to 2x, 3x, or even 10x your email open rates and other cool stuff to help you attract clients with email right now. And here's what we're going to cover, or what you're going to discover. 3 kinds of emails that you should never send to your prospects, okay? So what not to send. What you should be sending them instead so you can build authority, trust, and respect. 6 different principles and strategies to dramatically increase your response rate, because more response equals more clients. Bear with me for 1 second. I just have to take off a layer here. It's getting a little toasty.
What are you, in Florida?
My office gets heavy afternoon sun, and it's just getting a little toastier in here. At least 43 different email subject line ideas that will help you, as mentioned, get a lot more open rates. And Ryan, this is definitely where I know we'll have some fun together covering these, let's just say. And it's something to remember. This is a takeaway too, and maybe a different paradigm. If your email doesn't get open, it's as if it didn't exist, right? It's like the tree falls in the woods. Do you hear it, right? But if your email doesn't get opened, it doesn't exist, right? How to effectively and efficiently segment your contacts so your emails will be more congruent and more profitable.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt.
A simple tweak.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt there. So guys, I'm going to try to bring your presentation in the under the conversion umbrella here. So guys, as Josh talks, let's think about hashtags and specifically mass emailing. So the system does a lot. You can set up your drip campaigns, but a lot of what Josh is talking about will help you get responses from those dead leads or people who kind of are outside of that loop. All right, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, no, cool. And then where and when to automate your email communications and what you shouldn't automate or delegate, okay? Because even with a system as amazing as Conversion, there are still times where you don't want to solely rely on automation. and we'll talk a little bit about that. I forgot that I had this in the slides, but maybe we'll figure out a way to get you a PDF copy of the slides since it's in here. I don't know how these are posted, Ryan, but I'm happy to get a PDF with these slides.
That's all right.
Over to you. Yeah.
They can fast forward the YouTube replay.
There you go. All right. Cool. So here's the deal. I know that many of you on here are probably more advanced than some as far as digital marketing and maybe even email marketing, because you come to these sessions with Ryan, you're active in their group, and because I know if you're here, that means that you're also probably educating yourself elsewhere. But what I'm fairly confident in is this: regardless of your experience, there's going to be at least one idea that that is either new to you or is that a reminder to you that if you apply it over the next 6 to 12 months is going to get you another deal, 2 deals, 6 deals, 10 deals, 50 deals. In fact, one of the things we're going to cover, a buddy of mine was talking to his buddy recently who does, I don't know, 500 to 600 transactions out on the West Coast somewhere. And he asked him, he had made a big leap in transaction size from 2015 to 2016, or 14 to 15 rather. And he asked him what was the biggest thing, and it was applying some of the simple principles that we're covering here. So things that are seemingly, oftentimes we take for granted or overlook, let's say, can be the things that, when applied to a massive amount of contacts and prospects and just a massive database, can just get you exponential results. And so the challenge is, are you going to find that, and more importantly, will you then take action on it? Because information without application is just wasteful. For those of you who don't know, Ryan introduced me at the beginning. My name is Josh Shanley. Ryan and I used to we had a business together previously, which we sold. I'm now the co-founder of a company called Client Alchemist. I have four children who are currently, for at least for the next 2 weeks anyway, are 9, 7, 5, and 3. So my evenings and weekends and many days are spent chasing after them. And I've been helping real estate agents since 2007, 2008 with this whole digital marketing stuff, a piece of which is email marketing. So I'm going to have this, I'll just real quick, I'll put this here, and I'm going to have it at the end again for those of you who miss it here. But I've got a deal for you all listening where you can pick up my book. It's new, 2-3 weeks old at this point. You can check it out and pick it up just for the cost, just cover the cost of shipping and handling. So it's cheaper than you can buy it on Amazon. And you can get it at clientalchemist.com/KV, clientalchemist.com/KV. The name of the book is Attract: 4 Simple Steps to Engaging Your Ideal Client with Zero Prospecting. And took me a lot longer than I anticipated to get it done, but it's available. We've got a great deal for you, again, at clientalchemist.com/KV.
Yeah,
now,
Josh. So by the way, I read the book, really liked it, and I just want to make sure, somebody mentioned they couldn't hear very well. So just one more sound check. You guys hearing this okay? Just somebody say yeah.
Test.
Yep. Yeah, okay. I guess maybe it's just that one person. Okay, go ahead, man.
Cool. So I had put this presentation together earlier this year. It's one that we had shared with our community. And in doing so, I'd included some inspirations, which I wasn't 100% sure it would be applicable here, but I do want to share some of these things. So this is an email that I got a little while back from someone who, basically we had an email exchange, and it made me sad to hear this, but basically the short of it is, this is a person who was struggling mightily, could not get business, and then shared that he had a database of 1,900 people. And, my last questions to him, at least that I've got screenshot here, are what are you doing with them? What are you emailing, and how often? Because from that size of a database, he should be doing 40 to 50 deals in every 12 months And he wasn't doing anywhere near that. In fact, he was doing lop off the zeros. He was doing 4 to 5 deals a year. And so it just saddens me that the reason it is, he spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort to cultivate those contacts, but he's missing the key piece of how to get them engaged and how to get them into a conversation that naturally leads to them becoming a client. Because that's what this is about. It's about using email to kickstart as many conversations as possible, so that you have the opportunity to serve them. Or if they're not ready to do business, that it's a natural conclusion that they will send you potential clients as well.
That's really critical, that or on the referral side, because it's kind of like the shrapnel referral stuff you can get out of a database like Conversion that people overlook. They look at it as a lead is a lead.
The only way you have an opportunity for that is to get into a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Right? That's not going to happen if you treat them like a number, like just a sales statistic, and you treat them like churn and burn, and you only focus on how can I get this person to buy a house with me that today or this week or this month. You're going to lose that opportunity for referrals, because done correctly, one potential client could turn into multiple transactions before you even get to work with them directly, right? If you do a good job of this and you focus on serving instead of selling. And that's like a big, that's a big delineation, something that we talk a lot about at Client Alchemist is how can we be a servant instead of a salesperson, or servant selling versus hard selling. And what I'm sharing here today is that in email form, essentially. And then I just had to share these. Now, I'm sure most of you probably don't do this kind of stuff because you're using Conversion, but I am shocked and appalled and saddened and all form of emotions when I see some of the email newsletters that people are still sending to this day. Because I do what I do, because I'm sure Ryan gets a lot of emails from agents as well, and they're just so awful. They actually, you would be better not to send emails than to send emails like the next couple examples here. It's just all me, and here's why I'm so great, and it's nothing about the client, the prospect on the other end. So this is one I got recently that I snapshotted, and then this one was just so awful, and I feel bad. I hope this fellow's not with Conversion or watching this, but it literally said, like, the subject line was this: just sold these properties, and then I open up the email, and there's a whole bunch going wrong besides even just the text. But all he's doing is shouting with 3 exclamation points about how great he is, because he's got pictures of a couple of properties that he just sold. There was no call to action, no story about how he helped those people. It was literally just yelling, "I just sold these these properties," and it was 3 pictures of it. What's that?
I did my job.
Yeah, exactly. And there was just nothing there to it. And when I get those things, I'm just saddened. It's painful for me. And then the last thing is, this is a funny screenshot. It's hard for me to look at, actually, because I was like, that's me about 40 pounds heavier, and I actually look older, I think, than I do now, other than the gray and white hair I'm now starting to get thanks to my kids. But the reason I snapshotted this here is this is a video from, I think, 2008 or 9, and in the video, I'm talking about a lot of the very same things here, and also specifically talking about how your database, your email database, is your #1 asset in business, because it's the one thing that you control, that you quote-unquote own, and that would give your business potential value, or it's the main thing that would give it potential value if you were ever to sell it, if you ever wanted to move or leave the business. All right, so here are the top 5 reasons why I love email marketing and why you should too. And yeah, I have 6 here. I don't know why I didn't change the slide, but #1, email provides you with massive leverage, right? If you've got an email database database of 500 or 1,000 or 2,500 or 5,000. We have some people with us that have databases, in the 10 to 15,000 range. It is virtually impossible without hiring a call center to call those people and connect with them. Even if you dialed all day, every day for a month, you wouldn't be able to connect with them all. But one email, one carefully crafted email, allows you to connect with them and get response and engage and get into conversation with many of them. It's very inexpensive. It's become a little bit more expensive over the years, but still, in the grand scheme of things, email marketing is extremely inexpensive. It provides you with multiple profit channels. Those of you who are building big databases, you can leverage those and profit from them in numerous ways besides actually serving them in a real estate transaction.
Yeah, Josh, can you talk about that? When I met you, my mind was blown. I had a big database to see what you were doing, and you called it, do you mind me sharing what you called the list?
I vaguely remember. I'm not even sure.
You called it like your poop list, let's say. It was like
yeah. Okay, so I know what you're talking about. So when Ryan and I met, I had a database, and in fact, it goes back to the time of this video here. I had a database of, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 people in central Pennsylvania, which is our area, who had expressed an interest in investing in real estate. It was a list that I built over a 12 to 18 month period, and for several different reasons, I had sort of not been doing as many transactions, but I was leveraging and profiting from the list, even though I wasn't doing that, by sending emails about affiliate offers and different things and leveraging it.
Yeah, now, real estate investing. Like we could all do this. You were sending real estate investing courses, internet entrepreneurship stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, not only that though, you can certainly leverage it. I mean, you could leverage it and partner with a local home security company, a local insurance company, your mortgage partner. There are lots of ways that, if you didn't want to, there are many different ways to do this, right? And so don't let that specific story like pigeonhole you into only one way. You could even, once you build up a big enough database, you could talk to your local coffee shop and say, hey, I've got this database of people, I'd be happy to promote you to the list. Let's work out some kind of deal. Maybe you can get free coffee for a year. Maybe you can get them to pay you for the list, right? Or you can leverage it as a bargaining chip or a bartering chip, right? Maybe there's maybe you can do an email exchange with your insurance person or your mortgage partner, and you guys can send email an email broadcast to each other's list and sort of co-brand each other. So there's lots of different ways that you can leverage an email database. Number 4, I kind of mentioned this already, is you own it, right? You own your database. Number 5, if you cultivate this correctly, it can provide you with on-demand cash, on-demand clients and so forth. Now, in real estate, we have a long sales cycle, so maybe not as immediate as in some industries or businesses, right? Not like a restaurant could send an email in the morning and see that big cash infusion that evening. So you may not be able to do that, but it provides you with a better opportunity to do things like that. And then number 6, peace of mind. And here's what I mean by that. There's a story in the book that I wrote about this too. Once I figured out the power and the leverage and sort of the other 5 benefits here, before that time I was struggling entrepreneurially. I was sleepless nights trying to figure out what I was going to do, how I was going to make things work. And once I understood and started to leverage the opportunity of building a database, it created me a ton of peace of mind for me, because I had this asset that I could leverage and that I could turn into cash almost on demand. And so it provides, a significant level of peace of mind, but only if you do it right and if you consistently do it and you do it in a way that you put their interests first and that you are, continue to look at serving them, not selling them, right? And keeping a happy medium there. All right, so let's start with what kind of emails that you should never send, at least in my humble opinion and my experience, okay? So number one is how-to information. Things like information on staging, getting the lowest interest rate, increasing your home's value, winterizing your pipes, et cetera, et cetera. Huh? I know, right?
No, this is
right. But here's the reason why. One, actually, I may not even go past one, but they don't care, right? Most people, unless you can come up with a super creative, interesting angle on some topic like this, they don't care. So let me give you a for instance of what might be the exception to the rule. If you've gone out and done legwork, or you know of special financing programs, for example, in your market that may not be common knowledge to the public, that's sort of maybe would fall into the how-to information that would be beneficial and that would be interesting and engaging and valuable enough for them to be interested. But generally speaking, the reason why this doesn't work is because everybody else is doing it. It's information that's readily available. You can go to Google and search on any of this stuff and easily find it. So when you send this kind of stuff, it actually it creates the reverse effect. It becomes uninteresting. People aren't going to open your emails. They're not going to engage with your emails. They're not going to reply to your emails, and they're going to eventually tune you out or turn you off. So I'm not sure how this one, why that got in there. Number two, don't send traditional real estate industry info, like where the mortgage rates are going, how many building permits, and real estate trends and that stuff. Again, blasphemy. There's lots of big companies out there that are telling you this is what you should be emailing. I'm telling you that the person on the other end is, except there's always exceptions, right? Like maybe 5% of your list might find this interesting, but the majority are just going to be snoozing on the other end of these kind of emails. They're going to be completely disinterested. If they open your email, they're either going to delete it without opening it or delete it immediately upon opening it.
Spam button.
Yeah, or they might even do that, which is, worst of all of those things. And number three are the canned sort of drip emails. So like, the Thanksgiving greeting card or the Christmas greeting card where it literally is just like, Happy Thanksgiving and a nice picture of a turkey or something like that. The done-for-you e-newsletters. I get tons of those still. And most of those are a compilation of number two and number one in most cases, right? So, they kind of fit into there. And that kind of stuff. It's inauthentic, it's lazy, and it's simply not effective. Now, when you're using something like Kunversation, you can take this idea of canned or drip emails and customize them to the level that this overcomes, whatever limitations might be. I'm talking about when you send, the canned greeting card or the canned Veterans Day email or the canned Columbus Day email. That stuff is just going to get you deleted, blocked, marked as spam, and unsubscribed from, and it's going to mean you have no chance to serve that person and to have them as a client. So what should you be doing instead? So here are things that you should feel comfortable sending pretty much any time. Like literally, you could send these kinds of emails every day or at a minimum several times a week, and if you're doing it correctly, you're just going to get more and more business. You're not going to, there might be a few people here and there that you might upset and you might get some unsubscribes, but generally speaking, if you do this right, you can send these kind of emails at a very high frequency and only get more business from them. And number one is stories. Okay, stories. Tell stories about recent transactions.
So Josh,
What,
the,
what or how have you helped somebody? Yep.
so the recent transactions versus, I want to take it back to the just sold guy you had. There's a big distinction there. He was right. He was talking about the properties he sold.
Oh, yes. Right.
Right.
Okay.
Now the spin on that is sending a list of recent transactions because that's providing info to people, right? It's not just
Well, that's one way. So that's even another way, right? You're providing interesting information, right? Like, hey, here's a report with all the just sold homes in your neighborhood or in your, in your zip code, right? That's interesting because, it's more readily available to the public than it once was, but still not to the level of detail that you would be able to provide. But the other side of this is, let's take it back to that fellow who said, I just sold these properties, right? Instead of doing that, tell the story about whether it was a buyer, whether he was servicing the buyer or the seller. Tell the story of that person.
okay.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you the story about the Rodriguez family. We just actually closed on their house, and they were so excited, and I just had to share this story. They were frustrated. They were thinking about taking their home off the market, but then we talked about some things that we could do. We made some adjustments to the marketing, and in 3 days we had an offer, and we closed in X days. Right? So that's taking something that in the way that he presented it becomes uninteresting and about him, and then makes it about them, right? Takes a story about his clients, and it immediately becomes more interesting and engaging. And stories, if you look at it, stories are the best way to sell anything. If you look at, and some of this, some people will don't get offended by this, but to me, the best sales book of all time is the Bible. And the reason why it's so effective is the stories and the parables that are used to convey thoughts and ideas in the Bible throughout, especially the New Testament. And so stories are the best way for you to sell without selling, right? You tell a story about the buyer clients that you just helped, and they were very nervous. They had never bought a home before. They didn't understand how the financing would work, and you tell the story. Hey, here's how I was able to put them at ease, and now they're in their first home. Take a look at this picture of them, out in front of the sold sign. Blah blah blah. You take the same content, right? The same thing that happened, right? The same fixed outcome, but you present it in a different way, and it immediately becomes more interesting. And it immediately increases engagement and increases the likelihood of them getting into a conversation with you, right? So the two stories that I told totally off the cuff, what it creates is the opportunity for someone to say, let's say with the first-time home buyer, you put in there about some special financing for first-time home buyers. Well, don't you think that anyone on your email list who might be a first-time home buyer, that gives them an opportunity to say, hey, I'm curious to know about that special financing program for first-time home buyers. On the seller story that I told, again, completely off the cuff. We've tried to sell our home before and we weren't able to. I'm curious what kind of tweaks you made to the marketing that were able to get it, sold so quickly. But interweaving things like that open up loops, up in the reader's mind, that creates curiosity. And then leads them that they've got to reach out to you. They've got to engage with you and fill that open loop, right? To get that open loop closed. Man, I just can't stop thinking about that special financing. That guy in at Keller Williams or wherever who sent that email. I can't I got to know what it is. And then that's how you become and make yourself more attractive to your potential clients, and you get them chasing after you versus you hounding after them. Also, you can tell stories about other local businesses, right? You can tell the story about your favorite coffee shop and why they opened the shop, right? You can go and interview the owner and say, hey, you don't know who I am, but You probably have seen me in here because I'm in here every day. I love the coffee. I love the service. I've got this database of local folks, and I would love to just interview you real quick and send your story out to them so I can help support you, someone else in our community, right? So just telling stories about local businesses. And then personal stories, okay, about family, about work, otherwise. And the trick there, the key is there, how do you relate it back to a real estate transaction? Right? And it doesn't always have to relate back to that. It could just be an encouragement or something like that. But don't be afraid to share personal experiences. Quite honestly, I probably don't do that well enough anymore, but there was a time where I was consistently doing that, where people that had never met me in person, who would tell me through email and on the phone how they felt like they knew me and my family. And what that does is it creates rapport and likability and trust, even if they've never met you. And so that's one of the biggest objections or hurdles to taking someone who you haven't met to then helping them in what's the biggest transaction of their life. And you can use email to overcome that hurdle and roadblock to where when you meet them in person, when you're doing this right, they will feel like they already know you and like you and trust you. And so that goes back to that massive leverage. I think the VIP thing, I don't even remember for sure why I had that there, but I think it's there if you have, a lot of you or some of you may have sort of VIP programs. You might have like a VIP buyer program or some kind of special seller offer, right? And if you have those things, telling a story about a transaction around that, or telling a story about, maybe you have a VIP buyer program and you can only work with 5 clients a month, right? You can tell a story around, hey, one of our clients, one of our VIP clients, they just had something come up with their credit or something, and so one spot opened up in our VIP buyer program. If you're interested and would like more information, hit reply to this email and just let us know, and we can get you that info.
I can see that working really well with the investor hub too, because yeah, I only work with a handful of investors, and one of them moved out of the area or something.
Right. Yep,
yeah, cool.
Totally. Number 2 are simple yes, no, or closed-ended questions by email. So questions. Yeah. What's that?
Dean Jackson's popped into mind. That one email.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so these are emails that someone can answer quickly and easily, right from their mobile device, very quickly if they're glancing at. And the reason why these are so powerful is all we're trying to do is start a conversation. So any answer to an email is a good answer, right? Because it starts a conversation. It opens up the opportunity for you to continue the conversation until the only logical conclusion is they're going to work with you as a client or they're going to refer you as a client, ideally, right? I mean, obviously that's a perfect world, but you get the idea. So things like, are you still interested in buying a home in blank area, selling your home in blank area? Are you still interested in foreclosures in blank area? Are you still interested in new construction homes in blank area? Are you still interested in waterfront property in blank area? Would you like information on a new special financing program in blank area? Would you like information about builder incentives on some new construction homes? Would you like XYZ?
Yeah.
Say that again, Ryan?
Cash flowing income properties.
Would you like more information about cash flowing income properties? And then the second part of that email is to tell them what to do. Hit reply and let me know either way. That's it. Hit reply and let me know either way. Did you get X, Y, or Z? Hey, did you get that list that I sent you yesterday? Did you get that report I sent you yesterday? Did you get that whatever? Did you get that thing yesterday or last week or whatever? Again, just to get into a conversation. Which do you prefer? Which do you prefer? Would you like to have a home with a pool or without a pool? Hit reply and let me know. Would you like a 2-car garage or a 3-car garage? Hit reply and let me know. Simple things like that. You can all leverage. And when I told that story about the fella that had the massive jump in transactions, and his like #1 thing was that helped him make that back, it was emails like this. It was simple emails like this that are used to engage or re-engage with prospects and get them into a conversation so that you have the opportunity to serve them, right? And a lot of people will say, well, what happens when they do reply? And it's very simple. You just you treat them like a real person. There's not some special secret sauce, right? You affirm whatever they say. You provide them with benefit or potential benefit and another expectation of response. Which do you prefer, a pool home or not? I want a house without a pool. Great. So you don't want a pool. I totally get that. Would you like me to send a list of all the homes available in blank school district in your price range that don't have pools? Hit me. Let me know if you'd like that. Okay. It's simple. It's just continuing the conversation. There's no like ninja trick to it. It's just being natural and thinking about how can I serve this person? How can I help this person on the other end? Last one on the send away list, or I think it's the last one, is what I call irresistible intrigue. Irresistible intrigue. So you could send off-market deals, right? You may know about deals that aren't on the MLS, off-market deals. I mean, that creates a massive amount of intrigue and interest and is going to get people interacting with you. Special offers only for subscribers. They may be real estate specific, or going back to another topic we talked about, maybe you go out and do a story about the local coffee shop and you have a special offer for them. Hey, he also hooked me up with this special offer. If you mention my name when you go in, you'll get a free coffee or something like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then also you can do things like contests, or like you could send an email like this. Can you guess how many homes sold last month in Enola? Hit reply and let me know what you think, right? And any answer that they send back is an opportunity to continue the conversation. So they say 10, you're like, great guess. It was actually 47. It's pretty crazy. The market is really heating up. By the way, do you know of anybody that's thinking about selling? Because right now I've got a database of like 48 active buyers, and we don't have enough homes to sell them. Do you know of anybody who might be interested? Right, and obviously you'd pare that down a little bit in an email, but hopefully you're getting the idea of how you can take a seemingly simple, short little email and turn it into something that could turn into multiple transactions and more for you. Oh, and then the last one, it kind of hinted on this already, but coupons or special offers, wherein, Ryan, you've done that kind of stuff before.
Yeah.
I know with your brother too. Just simple things that will get people engaged and offer you the opportunity, A, to remind them that you're there, right? Just to remind them that you're there, and two, an opportunity to say, hey, thanks for responding, totally appreciate it. I know this is unrelated, but do you know anybody who might be, thinking about selling in blank area? I've got this couple, they're looking for a house, and we can't really find something that's right for them. If you or someone are thinking about selling, I'd really appreciate it if you'd let me know. Simple things like that.
Yeah, the where in, Josh, really works well, guys. What you do is you post like a picture of something around town, but don't make it obvious. Post it to your fan page, and then send an email out to everybody and just say, hey, I'm running a little contest on my page so you can guess first. And it's amazing how local content like that goes viral.
Yeah, totally. So number 5 is the thing that they asked for, right? So if they asked for a weekly list or a monthly report, send them that thing every week or every month. Now, with conversion, I know that you can automate a lot of that, and that sounds kind of silly, but I'm shocked at how many people aren't actually doing this. And it does two things. Two things. Number one, if you don't do that, you will piss some people off. They'll get mad because they asked for that. Hey, I signed up for a weekly list of foreclosures. I got the first one. I haven't gotten any since. It's a month later, right? And two, they'll either, if they don't get mad, they'll forget about you because you're not doing the thing that you did. Now, they may not get angry at you, but continually making good on the initial offer that you made is a way for you to, again, show that you are trustworthy and that you are likable and that they can count on you. And so don't hesitate or be afraid to do that. If they signed up for a free weekly list of X, Y, or Z, or a free monthly report, or whatever, send them that thing. And don't just send it to it when they sign up. Send them to it. Send that to them on that whatever interval they signed up for, and continue to follow up and follow through, because the stats are all over the place. But I've heard anywhere from 3 months to 9 months from the time somebody signs up, online for real estate information to the time they're ready to do something, because it's just reality, right? Now, a certain percentage of people are hot and ready to go right now, but the vast majority, for all of you, the vast majority of the profits of the potential transactions in your database are 60, 90, 180, 360 days out from the time they originally signed up. But if you're not following up and following through and sending the kind of emails that we talked about here, the 5 different styles, if you're not doing that, they're going to forget about you. And when they are finally ready to do something, they'll go find somebody else. Versus the other way around, if you do these things and you're consistent about it, when they're ready to do a transaction, it's already a foregone conclusion in their mind that you're the one that they're going to do business with. And you may have no indication of that prior to that, right? Yeah. I've had this happen to me, and our clients have had it happen time and time and time again, where somebody's been on our list for 90 days, 180 days, 360 days. They've never replied to anything, and all of a sudden one day they say, hey, this is so-and-so. You don't know me, but I feel like I know you. I've been getting your emails. We're ready to sell our house, and we'd like you to sell it for us. What do we do now? And you've never even heard from this person before, except for the day that they signed up.
Now, what most people would do, Josh, is they, especially conversion, a lot of people say it's a bad lead. The leads are weak. Like, go back to that bad lead is a listing a year later.
Everybody who signs up into your database is an actual person, right?
Yeah.
They're not an email. They're not a phone number. There's a real person on the other end, so long as they don't give you, Mickey Mouse at mickeymouse.com. But every, real contact you get, there's a real person on the other end. And there's at the time that they signed up, there was some level of motivation. And so, it's up to you to follow up and follow up and follow up until they unsubscribe, and that's okay. A certain percentage of people will, or until they're ready and real, serious about doing business. And so sometimes all it takes is just a shift in perspective that can make all the difference in your business, right? Just changing the perspective on the expectations you have on what should happen in that first, 24, 48 hours, 7 days, etc., and just playing the long game. I'm a huge fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. I think Ryan is as well, and he talks all the time about playing the long game, And what I've found, and it's frustrating and sad to me, is that so much of our industry is focused on the short game, right? How can I get a deal today? How can I put a deal together today? Whereas if you could just take a look at the long game, and here's the funny thing: when you're focused on the long game and you don't seem desperate and you don't have that quote unquote commission breath, you actually become more attractive, and you'll actually, in most cases, do more transactions in the short term and in the long term, just by changing that perspective and understanding that the majority of the people that sign up today, they're not going to be ready to buy or sell until springtime, let's say. And that's okay. That's good. That means you're filling your pipeline with future business, right? You're actually building the strength of your business on the future, and that's that's a wonderful thing. So 3 principles to live by, or I'm just being corny there. I'm not even going to say that. Anyway, principle number 1 is keep your emails short and sweet, conversational in tone. There are some exceptions, but when in doubt, keep it short and sweet. Think about it as, is this something I would send to a friend or to a relative, right? That, most people aren't going to want several sentences about how wonderful you are and how you were top 5% last year and how your average transaction was, size was blah, blah, blah. While that is all well and good and you should be proud of that, that stuff shouldn't be going out in your emails, because the person on the other end, in most cases, does not care. They care about what's in it for them. And the average person receives something like 100 emails a day. If you send somebody a long email, unless it's really well done, right? I gave some exceptions. If you tell a really compelling story, that might be an exception. And there are probably some other exceptions, but generally speaking, people are not going to read long emails, especially when more and more people are reading their emails on their phone. So you've got to keep it short and sweet, concise, to the point. Number 2, convey a benefit or potential benefit. And by the way, these three principles work for initial communication, and as I've said, once they already start engaging with you, these same principles continue to apply. So once they've answered that question or they started a conversation with you, these still apply, right? Make it about them, not you. And then number 3, include an expectation for them to respond or a call to action or both. And the easiest way, we've already given examples, is to simply ask a question. People want to answer questions, right? They want, when you are asked a question, and this applies beyond email, right? If you can ask a question in a Facebook ad or, in other marketing material, immediately it becomes a pattern interrupt, and it gets the person to pay attention, because it just snaps their train of thought, right? It just creates this little pattern interrupt. It commands attention, and it gets them consciously or unconsciously thinking about whatever question it is that you're asking. And the bonus one is to be your authentic self. Write emails the way you speak. There's nothing wrong with modeling or even swiping effective emails. Just make sure to put them in your own voice, right? If you read them if you can't easily read it and it doesn't sound like something that you would say in a conversation with someone, then you need to reword it the way you would talk. I'll give you, an example. Ryan and I are an example. We used to be in business together, and Ryan, when would type things out, would word things a certain way, and when I would try to read them, I couldn't read them authentically. Because it's usually just a few words, just rearranging. And neither one is right or wrong. It's just what's comfortable and what's normal and authentic to you. So, if you're getting, I'm sure there's some pre-written emails in Conversion, and you may have other ones, just make sure to reword them to be your authentic self, the way that you speak, the style that you speak in, etc. A few technical do's and don'ts. Your email should always should come from you, not your team name or company name or other, and it should be your full name. So notice Josh Shanley, not Shanley Home Selling Team. And you don't want it to be Josh either, because it seems like it could be spam. Like, who's Ryan? Ryan who? I don't know Ryan. That just seems... So we found more and more that when you just put your first name, open rates go down, unsubscribes go up, etc. So include your regular name, and you could put Josh Shanley parentheses Shanley Home Selling Team. There's nothing wrong with that, but lead with your name. We've already talked about this. Don't use fancy newsletter templates or headers, etc. It should look like it's coming from a real person, because it is, right? Your email should look like that. And if possible, send plain text as HTML.
Yeah.
Now,
Josh, you can't send an HTML email with conversion, and it drives people crazy. But I'm glad to hear you say this. So
You can't? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, you can't. We just don't have it as an option. You have to send.
Yeah. So you should all. So if you're listening and that's a frustration for you, you should actually thank them because they're doing that. That means more people are going to open and engage with your email, and I can guarantee it. Guarantee it. You are going to get better open rate and better engagement and more people reading your emails because of that very thing. So kudos to Conversion for doing that and taking a stand, putting their foot in the ground on that. I love it. Let's see here. A simple tweak. So this is kind of a bonus and doesn't necessarily directly relate to this, relate to email. Well, it kind of does. It relates to email open rates. If you can, on your thank you page, which I'm not sure if you can with Conversion, or in your initial email, if you can find a way to get video in some form or fashion there, a little 10, 15, 20-second video from you introducing yourself and telling them what to expect now that they've signed up, it will dramatically increase your open rate on your initial email and on your coming emails, because it, again, is allowing you to leverage technology to start building rapport and trust and likability. And it doesn't have to be hard. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Ryan.
I just put this a couple of days ago on the list. We're working on new templates, so this is going to be a feature where you'll be able to pop a YouTube video in, and then instead of just taking people straight to whatever list they were opting in for, it'll show a video first, then continue. So yeah, guys.
I love it.
Yeah.
It will dramatically help engagement, your open rates, etc., and give you a better opportunity to work with them as a client, because as soon as you do that, they can put a face with the name, and now when they're getting an email from this Ryan guy, they know what this Ryan guy looks like. They feel like they have a connection with you, on the other end. And so it's a little thing that will make a big difference for you. So this was just on our platform, a traditional thank you page that we use, which is text only, versus a video thank you page.
Hey, it's Mike.
And allowing them to connect. What's this?
So hey, it's Mike.
Yep. Yeah. And the reason why this is so powerful is you're introducing yourself, you're training folks to look for your email. So in that video, once that's available to you all, you want to tell them, hey, my name is Josh Shanley, and I just want to let you know that I just sent you an email with the information that you requested. Again, my name is Josh Shanley, and you're telling them to go look for your emails. And number 3, your competition, for the most part, isn't doing this, okay? Now, Ryan, how are we doing on time? I have no idea.
You're fine. Everybody's hanging around, which tells me that's good. They usually just leave me at about 4:10 or 4:15, so you're doing good.
Gotcha. All right, so this is the last thing I have on here, which is just sort of just a brain dump of different and unique subject lines that you can use that will help you get better open rate, right? We said at the very beginning, if your email doesn't get open, it's as if it doesn't exist. And Ryan, feel free to add and chime in on any of these, but anything like hey, hi, heyo, hello, I included variations there because one template that we like to use starts with the subject line hey, and somebody was like, well, I never say hey, and I said, well, what would you say? And she said hi, and I said, well, then use hi as your subject line, right? So again, an example of just being authentic, right? If you would never say hey, don't do hey. If you wouldn't say heyo, even being silly with friends, then don't do that. Pick what works for you. Just curious, question mark. That gets massive open rate, and there's lots of ways that you can do that. Hey, just curious, are you already working with a realtor or no? Or just curious, do you already have a mortgage pre-approval letter or no? Or hey, just curious, are you aware of the XYZ special financing program for first-time homebuyers in blank area? Hit reply and let me know. Here you go, simple one. It could be the report they requested. It could be a new report that they didn't requested, but they might be interested in, etc. some of these we already sort of showed in different form or fashion, but did you get this? Are you still there? Are you okay? Are you okay? I got to tell that one. If you send that one to new prospects, after 15 or 30 days, and they haven't replied to anything, you will get massive engagement. Are you okay? Hey, this is Josh, and a couple of weeks ago you requested, this report, and I haven't heard from you. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. Will you hit reply and let me know? And they're, it's a pattern interrupt. It's different. It's unique.
Yeah, it's going to. I like that one. Are you dead? Are you still alive? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay? Are you alive? Hello. Great googly moogly. Lots of ways you could use with that. Special financing, a great deal, something along those lines. I have a question about your neighbor. This one I got from one of our members. He may even be on here because I think he's a conversion user too. I can't remember exactly the application of that one, but it got me to laugh. And so if you can figure out a way to use that subject line and have it make sense, people are going to open that. It's going to be hard to resist, you wanting to ask a question about their neighbor. Did you know this about blank? Did you know this about foreclosures? Did you know this about whatever? Fill in the blank. Open up, smiley face, or you could even do the winky face, whatever that one is. Simple but straightforward, and people will open. Now, when they open up, you've got to have something good for them to look at, right? You want to have, this is one that you would want to use with a story or with some kind of special offer and you can even apologize. You could say, hey, sorry for being so direct, but I wanted to make sure that you saw this. And then whatever the thing is that you want them to see. Can you guess? Did you forget? This is a good one. First time available in over 15 years for a new listing that hasn't been sold lately. Okay? It's awesome. Private list of homes not in the MLS. And notice, it's always good if you can figure out a way to work in different characters. And, Ryan, I know you're a big fan of, what is that called when you have upper, lower? I always forget what that's called.
Is that camel case?
Camel case, right? Just doing something to stand out in the person's inbox, right? It increases the chances that your email is going to get opened. And once again, if it doesn't get opened, it doesn't exist. Some other ones, $1 million listing, question mark. Taking you off the list, question mark. Did you get the list okay? Did you get the report okay? Forgot about this. Sorry. This is a great one if you've got a sequence of emails for when someone initially signs up for something special, right? And so what did you forget about? Well, you could have forgot to send them information about special financing or about special builder incentives or about, whatever. Something special that you can share that wasn't shared with them in the first couple emails. And if you've got that, it's going to get massive open rate and it's going to get engagement and get people responding, etc. Did you get it? Did you want me to try and fit you in? Did you want me to try and fit you in? Hey, I just had an opening come up in my schedule, and I just wanted to see if you wanted to go check out some houses tomorrow afternoon. Can you be more specific? Right? Can you be more specific? Can you be more specific about what? Can you be more specific about the size and style of home that you're interested in, or whatever? Will you let me know when you get this? Will you let me know when you get this? This is kind of like the "Are you okay?" Hey, this is Josh, and you signed up for that free weekly list that we offer 2 weeks ago, and I haven't heard from you. Can you just let me know when you get this? And they're like, yeah. They reply, yeah, I got it. And then you just start a conversation. Great, just wanted to make sure. Hey, by the way, did you see that info about the special financing, blah, blah, blah? And it just opens the door to a conversation. Can you please provide feedback? Can you help me out? Can you help me out? This is a great one. This is one that you don't want to abuse. You don't want to send this one, a subject line like that, every week. But once a quarter, sending an email like that, can you help me out? Hey, I've got this couple. We've been trying to find them a house for like a month now. We just can't seem to find the right home for them. If you know somebody who's interested or been thinking about selling in blank neighborhood, would you let me know or let them know and have them contact me, something like that?
That one's powerful, Josh. A lot of these are the "Can you help me out" is almost like a command, NLP wise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you reverse can and you can help me out, and that stuff works. It just hits their lizard brain and almost commands them to interact with you.
Yep. Other variations of that. Will you help me out? Help, please. Smiley face. I might need to reschedule. Guess what day it is? I forget what that was. That was another one from our community. But there's lots of, you can get creative with that. Forget a Zestimate, get a Bestimate. Photos enclosed, do not bend. One of my favorite marketers ever just sent this email today, actually, or an email with this subject line today. Photos enclosed, do not bend, right? It's just a joke. It's a pattern interrupt. It's designed to get them to smile a little bit. And then, of course, when they open it up, you've got photos inside, either directly in the email or when they click on the link in the email, they see the photos, right? Just having some fun. Really? Question mark, dot, dot, dot. Really? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation, blah, blah, blah. One word, dot, 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 crazy. Could be there was just a crazy price reduction. FYI, great one, couple things. These are random ones that work. Bananas, booyah, onions, sweet, bad news, good news. Don't take it personally.
Sweet,
lots
sassy,
and lots
molassy.
What's that?
Sweet, sassy, molassy. It's like your googly moogly. It just
Yep,
sounds
exactly.
fun. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So we've been on for, over an hour. Let's go ahead and wrap up. I will put one final plug. And then if there are comments or questions, I'm happy to hang out. I can probably hang out for a couple more minutes.
Josh, there's
anyway.
just one or two. There's a few comments. Beth mentioned that MailChimp has a new service just for short emails, so if everybody wants to check out MailChimp for that.
Cool.
There was one question, and I think you're going to echo what I kind of answered, but somebody asked, what's the fastest way to build your email list? My answer was Facebook PPC right now. I don't know. What are you doing to just drive?
For sure. That's the fastest, most scalable, most predictable way to do it. You depending on your market area and some different things, you might have to tweak and play around with it a little bit. But that would be the first place I would start for sure.
Yep.
And I know you guys have lots of good training on that. And in fact, that's a good segue. When you pick up my book, I give you the principles that we're currently applying to Facebook to identify, attract, connect, and get into conversation with your ideal clients. Those are the 4 steps. Identify, attract, connect, and converse. And that's what the book walks you through. You can get it just by covering the shipping and handling, and it's at clientalchemist.com/KB.
Yeah, Mark's asking, we said Facebook, Mark, Facebook pay-per-click, which conversion heavily. We talk about a lot of these, and you can order a la carte if you want. Yep. And then one more question, Josh. Are you building lists around niches like veterans, coastal homes? You do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful idea, and it's one of the many reasons why we love Facebook, because you can customize an offer to an audience, and you can get very specific. Now, there's a happy medium, because if you go too narrow, you might not have a large enough audience to attract and connect with. So, it's going to depend on your market. It's going to depend on some factors. But yeah, we have a saying at Client Alchemist: if you try to go broad or brand, you'll go broke, and when you niche, you'll get rich.
Cool. All right, Josh. Thank you, man. I think this gave gave people a lot of perspective, especially within conversion. We do a lot of emailing. We have a lot of emailing functionality. And I think a lot of you guys, hopefully you go and you edit some of your drip campaigns and you send some of those open-ended questions. Josh, just a final thing. Of course, everybody, you're going to want to go to Josh's book, but Josh, I know you can do this. What's the one email you recommend everybody send if they just need to get something today? Like, what email would you recommend people send right now through conversion to maybe generate a deal today?
Subject line: are you still interested?
Okay.
Or hey. And the body would be, are you still interested in blank? Are you still interested in selling your home in Mechanicsburg? Question mark. That's it. Are you still interested in buying a home in Mechanicsburg? Question mark. You will get bombarded with responses. It doesn't matter if you have 10, 100, or 1,000. You will get bombed. And if you don't, it's probably you did something wrong. You made it too long. You complicated it unnecessarily. You did something wrong, because it works every single time. Now, you don't want to send that to people that signed up yesterday, but any disengaged, I would say any leads, 30 days or older that you aren't actively working with, send that out. Hey, and then are you still interested in blank? Question mark.
Cool. Thanks, Josh. Just a comment. Laureen says, by the way, this is super helpful and informative. Appreciate you, Josh. Laureen, I did mention to everybody that Conversion doesn't send HTML. Laureen's correct. She's saying that, well, it actually does send the Gmail signature and all that, so it is HTML. What I was specifically mentioning is you can't send fancy HTML templates with a bunch of images and stuff in there. It's like simple text. And then that's about it. Josh, are you able to get the slides? We're having a lot of requests for that. Maybe I'll include those with the recording.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll get them. I'll get them to you later today, and I'll get it. I'll have it as. I'll send you the actual PDF and a link to it, and you can do whatever you like with them.
Yeah, it'll be at conversion.info/recordings. We'll have a link to the slides. I'll get you a link to that free book offer from Josh, and a link to the Amazon if that's okay with you, Josh. You want to?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So. Thanks, Josh, man. Thank you, everybody, for being on, and talk soon to everybody.
Thanks for having me. Take care.